Hello, dear fans, friends, subscribers. Welcome to your cricket show, the Cricket Happening Show. In this particular Cricket Happening Show, it's the major thing that is going to dominate this cricket show is going to be the second day's play between England and Sri Lanka. Looking at the overnight score, went on to post 381 all out, and England on the second day at stumps were 98 for 2. So this is the one which is going to really dominate this particular cricket show. Other than that, we'll have a look at some cricket news as well. But first, let's talk about this game in greater detail. So 229 for 4. It was very interesting to see whether the pitch will be taking some turn, as mentioned, as you know, by Angelo Matthews the other day. So Angelo Matthews and Dickewalla came out to bat, and well, I have to say that with only 4 runs added, Angelo Matthews was back into the pavilion as Anderson went on to pick up his wicket. But just giving you a synopsis here, the Sri Lankans 381 all out. It was Angelo Matthews was out for 110, but Dickewalla collected his highest Test score of 92. But unfortunately, what a shame that he missed his century. Truly deserved it, I thought, with his good batting. And there was some good resistance coming from Dilruwan Perera, who contributed 67 useful runs. And that's the precise reason the Sri Lankans could get to a total of 381. And James Anderson, at the age of 38, went on to pick up a 5-wicket bag. This is 30th 5-wicket bag, which has put him past Glenn McGrath of Australia. It's only now the Richard Hadlee, former great bowler from New Zealand. Richard Hadlee is the only one in front of him with 36 5-wicket hauls. And one thing that is going in favor of Anderson here is Anderson has become the oldest bowler to go and pick up a fifer the 30 times. James Anderson take a bow. At the age of 38, he picked up 6 wickets for 40 runs, and that is quite an achievement. And that too, against Sri Lanka. And as you know, Anderson does not have a good record in Sri Lanka. And here he comes in his very first, picks up 6 wickets for 40 runs. And as I said, Anderson definitely is someone who is definitely, we all know he's a great bowler, but I think there'll be a lot of greatness of Anderson being talked around even when he retires. He's such a good bowler. And today, what he did is he picked up Angelo Matthews very quickly. As I said, the ball was fairly new, and he picked up. Now, this was this particular wicket. Matthews actually went forward. The ball took a deflection, and basically England wanted to review it. And there was a slight doubt whether it hit the knee roll or what. But finally came the decision that there was a spike which was detected by the technology that is being used, and that resulted in Angelo Matthews being adjudged out. Caught Butler, bowled by Anderson for 110 with 11 boundaries. So that was not a good start for Sri Lanka early in the morning on the second day. Dickewalla was then joined in by Ramesh Mendes. Now Ramesh Mendes was making his debut, and very disappointedly, he was out to some brilliance from Butler behind the stumps. Wood was the bowler, and Ramesh Mendes collected a duck on his first outing in international cricket, making his Test debut. But what a wicket! Ramesh Mendes would definitely not like to remember this, as this was sheer brilliance from the wicket-keeping brilliance of Butt that actually got this wicket. Now, Ramesh Mendes was strangled down the leg side by Wood. There was some extra pace, and Mendes toppled over. That is Ramesh Mendes. And Butler went down the leg side, and with his left hand, he snaffled the edge. And that was a great catch, according to me. And Mendes the pavilion collecting a duck, and suddenly the Sri Lankan innings had the score read 243 for 6, and they were in definitely things were not looking good. But it was Dickewalla at the other end who was keeping his cool as he got a partner who was a very, very able ally for him in the form of all-rounder Dilruwan Perera. And both started, as far as Dickewalla was concerned, unlike all the other English batsmen who were very, very watchful against Anderson, he was the only batsman who was willing to play the strokes. And Niroshan Dickewalla played some very, very good strokes. In fact, it was a very good partnership that ensued between these two, which added 89 runs. It was very direly needed. As I said, the score read 243 for 6 when Mendes was out, and now it was to really get things back in order. They definitely needed a partnership. But the surprising thing was that Dilruwan Perera put up some stern resistance. He was very good with the spinners. He handled Dom Bess and Jack Leach very well. He also put them over the fence once. And Perera was giving very good support to Dickewalla. But Dickewalla was more of an aggressor. And Dickewalla, we know he can play his strokes. He likes to play. He played some scorching cover drives. And he was looking very good. He was the only one who was having a handle on Anderson. And things went on. And when this partnership was looking good, having reached, having got Sri Lanka to 332 with the partnership, yielding 89 runs, the wicket fell. And this was the wicket of Niroshan Dickewalla. Niroshan Dickewalla was looking good. He had got to his highest score in Test cricket. He was 92. And that was the time Anderson struck. Now, this was not a good shot from Dickewalla because one has to say that it was a rash shot. The reason being, the ball was wide of the stumps. And it was Dickewalla trying to have a flail at it, one could say. And he tried to drive the ball, and all he did was he drove it, but it was Jack Leach who actually picked up. He was in the wide mid-off position, and he picked up the catch, and that was the end of Niroshan Dickewalla. He could have definitely bided his time. He knew that his first Test 10 was coming. It would have been very apt for Dickewalla to just stay put at the crease, try to muster as many runs, and he knew that his presence was very important. Sri Lanka probably could have raised probably they could have gone beyond 400 if Dickewalla would have been there. But unfortunately, that was not the case. Dickewalla missed his century. But one thing that would give him some solace is that this was his highest score in Test cricket, 92. Very good knock from Dickewalla there, 92 with 10 boundaries. Anderson picked up his sixth wicket. That was fifth wicket, sorry. And then after that, once Dickewalla left the scene, Suranga Lakmal came as soon as he left, as he was caught by Crawley of the bowling of Anderson. He tried to slash a delivery from Anderson, and all that he could do was slash the ball, but the ball went straight into the hands of Gully region. Crawley pouched it, and that was the end of Suranga Lakmal. So at the same score, the 8th wicket fell, 332 for 8 when Suranga Lakmal departed, and then a brief partnership. But Lasith Embuldeniya was just like a sort of a spectator over there, having contributed 7. But Dilruwan Perera was the one who was doing all the scoring. But then it was the end of Lasith Embuldeniya. Embuldeniya was caught by Root of the bowling of Wood, a fuller length from round the wicket from Mark Wood, and Embuldeniya went to have a go at it and nick the ball, and he was caught by Root in the slip cordon. Sita Fernando was not out on not, but Dilruwan Perera, I thought he played a good innings of 67, 8 fours and 1 6. He was a victim of the bowling of Sam Curran. Sam Curran finally getting his wicket there as Dilruwan Perera tried to pull it was a short ball from Sam Curran, tried to pull it, but all that he could do is he pulled it into deep square leg. Leach took the catch, 67 gone, and that was the end of the Sri Lankan innings. 381 all out, Sam Curran getting a solitary wicket there, and the Sri Lankans were bowled out for 381. Looking at the bowling, James Anderson's figures absolutely stood like a beacon there. 20 overs at the age of 38, getting on to his 30th 5-wicket haul in Test cricket, which took him past the former Australian great fast bowler, Glenn McGrath. 29 overs, 13 maidens, 40 runs, and 6 wickets. What a splendid bowling performance from Anderson. Anderson, every time he comes to Sri Lanka, he has struggled, but here he comes in and picks up the wicket. 6 wickets for 40 at the age of 38, and still going strong. And definitely, he's also going to India, so that is something which would be a test. But I have no doubts in my mind that James Anderson, Stuart Broad, even on docile Indian tracks, would be someone very difficult to reckon with for sure. Sam Curran, 18.3 overs, 3 minutes, 1 for 60. Jack Lee, 38 overs, 5 minutes, none for 119. Mark Wood, I thought did a good job, 28 overs, 4 minutes, 84 runs, and 3 wickets. 26 overs, 2 minutes, none for 76 for Dom Besderana Murphy. Now it was the turn of the Englishmen to come and bat, and once again the openers' woes once again continued. And this was smart thinking on the part of the captain Dinesh Chandimal, because he did not. He gave the first over to Suranga Lakmal, and one probably thought Asita Fernando would be pressed into action, but it was not to be. At the other end, he had the spinner Lasina Buldanian. That's how you build pressure. And I thought I have to give credit to the captaincy of Dinesh Chandimal, because he definitely sussed it up that if they could get the openers, and openers are obviously under a lot of pressure, Zach Crawley and Dom Sibley, because they have succumbed to the spinner Lasina Buldania. And I thought that was the right way to go. I mean, it was very good captaincy. I mean, it could have been easily, the new ball could have been easily been given to either Asita Fernando, who bowled later, but he did not give the ball to Asita Fernando. Instead, the new ball was handed over to the spinner, and there comes the result. As first he picked up the wicket, the first to go was Dom Sibley. Now Dom Sibley, again, Dom Sibley was going on to the back foot, and this was a flatter delivery from the left-arm spinner Lasina Buldania. And as I said, he was totally cramped there, and the ball hit the pad, and definitely one can say that the ball was going to hit the leg stump. I mean, definitely he was plumb in front, and that was the early breakthrough that Lasina Buldania provided for Sri Lanka. Simply gone, LBW Wimbledon not, and continued his poor run here against Sri Lanka. And the next to go was Zach Crawley. Now this was a perfect left-arm spinner delivery, which actually, in fact, it was Zach Crawley who was coming onto the front foot. He was totally in a squared-up position, and he probably thought the ball was, he was probably going to push it down to the off region, probably due to the mid-off region, and the bat was absolutely straight. But what happened was that the ball actually dipped in and started turning after pitching in. This was a wonderful dismissal to watch as he propped forward. The ball actually turned, kissed the edge of the bat, and it was taken by Lairu Tirimane. Tirimane taking the catch, and that was the end. Simple, it was the slips which was coming into the position. So you could just imagine when the batsman came forward, the ball just turned, kissed the edge, and slowly the ball, found its deflection to the slip region, where Lairu Tirimane made no mistake, and Buldania had struck and really done a double strike for his team, as the score was not looking good at all for the Englishmen, as they were 5 for 2, both the openers back into the hutch. And now it was two new batsmen at the crease, Johnny Bairstow and Joe Root. But as you know, Joe Root is absolutely full of confidence. And Joe Root, what he did today, he definitely had a different attitude towards Buldania, and that was to go and sweep the spinners. Not only did he sweep, he also used the reverse sweep to good effect, as he swept and reverse swept and went on to a very aggressive 67, going by Root standards, as England definitely recovered very quickly, as 93 unbeaten runs were added by the pair of Joe Root, 67 not out with 10 boundaries. I mean, to see Joe Root getting 67 of 77 balls, it's like looking like one-day stuff according to me. But Joe Root definitely was very severe against the spinners. 67 with 10 boundaries. Jonathan Bairstow, more sedate one could say, not out 24 with 4 boundaries, as England closed the day at 98 for 2 after the openers, both the openers were dismissed pretty early in the piece. So 98 for 2, England still trailed by 283 runs. Looking at the bowling there, Ramesh Mendis on his debut was not impressive at all. His 2 overs got taken for 19. Dilruwan Perera, 7 overs, 1 minute, none for 22. The wicket taker was Lasith Mbuldinia. 11 overs, 4 maidens, 33 runs and 2 wickets. You're doing a great job in this series, no doubt about it. Sri Lanka Lakmal, 5 overs, 2 minutes, none for 10. Asita Fernando, 5 overs, 2 minutes, none for 12. So that was the match situation. England closing the day, 98 for 2. Now, one thing that what could happen, definitely one can discern turn in the pitch. Root is doing a good job. But definitely looking at the scorecard, what one could do is that the ball is going to be fairly old, and it will be the best bet for England in the opening session to get as many runs as possible, because England are the ones who are going to bat last on this particular pitch. And let me tell you, looking at on Spy Sports, when Mahela Jayawardene, who has a very good knowledge of the home conditions and being a very experienced player himself, definitely said that even a score of 150 or 170 is going to be very, very difficult to chase on this particular ground on the 4th day. So what England have to do tomorrow is they have to see to it that, I mean, there is still some batting left, no doubt about it, but they have to get to a total of probably definitely 500. So that is going to take some real doing, no doubt about it. But if they could get 500 runs on the board, they could get some 120, 30 odd runs lead. And then they could probably, if Dom Bess and Jack Leach could definitely get the ball to turn as one is expecting it to be, then things might work out for for England. But other than that, if they are going to succumb to a score which is lesser and probably concede a 100-run lead or 75 runs lead to Sri Lanka, and if Sri Lanka is going to bat and then probably get in another 150 or 200 runs, as I said, any target of 150 runs on this particular wicket on the final day, on the 4th or 5th day, is going to be damn difficult. So the pitch is going to crack big time, and things are not going to be easy. So, as I said, it's nicely set up. The Sri Lankans would be feeling that they would have a chance to level the series. But again, it all depends on the first session of the game tomorrow as to how Root and Bairstow proceed. Other than that, there's still a lot of batting to come. England can still do it. England can still go and take a lead by usurping the Sri Lankan total. But, well, as I said, only time will tell the story. Other than that, the news, I'm just trying to see whether there's any other cricket news that I can cover to you. One news that I can see here, just talking about another news is that I was talking to you, telling you that Bangladesh and West Indies will be playing in their final one-day international, which is a mere formality. Now, let me tell you, this is very interesting. I was telling you that, and Tamim Iqbal also said that they will be giving the youngsters a look in. But I now, what I'm reading from what I'm really discerning here, now they say that is the president, the BCB president, Nazmul Hassan, has come out. This is the ICC World Cup Super League, and points are very important. And Bangladesh doesn't want to miss the best. As you know, there are 8 teams which will automatically, the top 8 automatically qualifies for the 2023 World Cup. So they don't want to mess around, right? And I think I totally agree with the president of the Bangladesh Cricket Board, Nazmul Hussain. So I don't think we are going to see much changes in the Bangladesh setup. I think they will be going with the same winning combination, according to me. So it's really up for grabs. So Bangladesh will once again be very, very powerful against the West Indies. So probably one is looking at a Bangladesh clean sweep tomorrow against the West Indies. That's what I would reckon, because I think that's the right way to go, because Bangladesh want to ensure that this is the right time for them, because you can strike when the iron is hot, right? So now they know that the West Indies are crippled. They don't have their full team. And after that, Bangladesh would be playing other teams. Probably it is going to be much more difficult for them. So it's better that they really strike when the iron is hot, go there, go for it, and do a clean sweep of the series so that they can get a lot of points, which will help them in their automatic qualification for the 2023 World Cup, so that they can garner a lot of points in this ICC One Day Super League. Well, dear friends, there's nothing to really talk about. Well, definitely looking forward to the third day's play between Sri Lanka and England tomorrow at Galle, and looking forward to your company as well when I come here to narrate the day's proceedings for you on my cricket happening show. So until then, it's goodbye from me here, your host for the cricket happening show. Thank you.